WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, tasting often rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have this orange box from Wolfburn. You've never seen it before because it's brand new in Germany. It's called the Vibrant Stills Small Batch. Whiskybase number 234995. Goes over here for about 85 to 88 euros. 50% ABV, a total of 1,500 bottles for Germany exclusively. Now, Vibrant Still belongs to Alba Import. Didi and Corinna, I know them both fairly well, doing great jobs here in Germany, bringing over a lot of brands. And one of these brands they've been very loyal and very good at building up in Germany is Wolfburn. Now, this is a mix of 5 first fill bourbon barrels. Now, does it say first fill on here? It does say here, limited release, first fill bourbon barrels. I can't even read. Down here, natural color, non-chilled filtered, 50%. They're the barrels number 419, 420, 421, 422, and 423. So consecutive barrels here. This is not the first time they did it. As the official importer for Germany, they get to have their own little small batch series, and I've tried some of these in the past. For example, last year we had the dark rum cask finish. There they took the cask number 79, 147, 248, 313. It looks like they actually picked and chose the right ones. That was a 7-year-old. Now we have an 8-year-old. In the year 2021, they had a 7-year-old first fill bourbon finished in Ruby Port, 1,200 bottles of that 50% ABV. Everything's 50%, by the way. In the year 2020, they took a first fill ex-bourbon barrel. They took a Pedro Jimenez PX Sherry Butt, 500 liters plus 200 liters. Bam, you had 1,100 bottles of that 7-year-old, almost 7-year-old as well. So we've gone from a 7 to a 7 to a 7. Now we're at the 8 years of age. And back in 2019, they had a 4-year-old Pedro Jimenez Sherry Casks. 152, they were hogsheads, 153, 154, and they put them together and they had their 1,500 bottles. So maybe they weren't hogsheads. And the very, very first one they did was way back in 2017 with a 4-year-old whiskey. They had cask number 446, 447, 449. So one was missing. Why am I mentioning all the cask numbers? Because as I was doing we were at a distillery. I was helping. Another good friend of mine was there as well. And we're developing with the owners of that distillery their next expressions. And we actually had different barrels. We had consecutives, boom, boom, boom. And it was like, we had one that was really interesting. There was rye whiskey. So 75% rye, 25% malted barley, same mash bill they use, for example, Driftless Glen. Also this distillery. And barrel, I'm just going to say 414 was great, 416 was great, 415 something was wrong. And the first question we asked was this actually from the same batch of distillate? Was it in different days? Is it the cask? Is it something going on in the distilling process? They had to go look at the papers, and they're still looking to see back then, 2017, what went on, what made that cask so funky? Let's use that word. And that's really interesting because sometimes you're going to have this cask and then this cask and this cask going to be all the same. And every once in a while you're going to have a cask in between that's just way out there in left field. And so they took 5 casks that were consecutive. I hope, and that's my imagination, all right? So I live in this fairy tale world sometimes where I hope things go as I imagine. And then often I throw stones in this glass house I live in and I destroy that image myself. All right, so I still hope that actually the owners over here in Germany, the importers, actually tasted cask 419, 20, 21, 22, 23. And they were like, they're great casks, put them together, marry them, vat them, and boom, send them over. Now, what I also kind of imagined and kind of hoped, but it's not true, is they were like, oh, okay, now we're going to pick out the exact ABV. Is it going to be best at 46, 48, 50, 52, 54? No. They do exactly the same thing Duncan Taylor does, or anyone else also in the whiskey world that's an independent bottler. They often just pick and say all our products are going to be 46%. All our products are going to be 50%. Bottle and Bond does the same thing in America. All our products are going to be whatever, 40%, the legal minimum. And or 43 we had from Signature Vintage for many years. They did a 43% version that they brought out, and everything was diluted down to 43%. Not because that was the best taste, but because we got the most bottle out of each barrel because of that. And here they pick just something that's okay, 50%. Now each of these steps, sending samples from Scotland to Germany to try the 5 barrels, takes time. Actually preparing the samples of 43, 46, 48, 50, 52, whatever, it takes time. Now, the quickest thing would be, hey, I'm going to fly over to Scotland, go over there for a day, make this whiskey and fly back. You lose the day, you lose the time, you lose the money, you travel, all that is a little bit like, wow, that's a lot. And so I think that my illusion here has been destroyed by my hopefulness. But they did a good job of this. All right, what am I going to compare it to? What they did not do a good job of is this one. This is the 10-year-old Wolfburn. I'm going to pour this, and I'm going to mention the fact that there's a lot of lactic acid going on here. It's very, very, it's almost spoiled butter. I do not like this at all, and I'm very, very disappointed in the fact that I do not like this. I like Wolfburn. I like what they're doing, how they're doing it. Now, I forgot to mention something I'm going to rant about. When I did my video about this, I didn't even see this. I didn't pay attention to this. 1821. It says founded. Established. Established. That's BS. The distillery's 10 years of age. It was opened in December of 2021. December 2012. It started distilling in January 2013. No. Then you may ask yourself, why did they put this and that? What really it showed up here the first time I saw it. It's like, wait, 1821. What the? No. Now, there is a site of an old, ancient, demolished, destroyed distillery, basically. There's a couple stones there. From 350 meters away. That was the original Distillery Wolfburn. It has nothing to do with the distillery today, except for the name. Not the same owners, not the same family. I don't even think they use the same water. I mean, nothing, basically. But still, they're referring back to 1821. All right, I hate that. With Bushmills, I hate it. It says here someplace since 1608. Wrong. And there's so many different distilleries doing that. I wish there was actually a legal way to forbid them from doing that. All right, but apparently not, and that just bugs me. All right, so this is 60 euros. This is 85 euros. This is 8 years of age. This is 10 years of age. This is a core range product now. This is a limited 1,500 bottle release for Germany only. So this is peated, this is not. 10 ppm, by the way. Now this is actually a very, very nicely made whiskey. You have the vanilla from the bourbon casks. You have a nice peatness. It's almost like a bonfire made out of driftwood. It's not ashtray. It's not the smokehouse. It's not the I forgot the English word for Heidekraut. The heather of Highland Park. This is a nice, solid peat moment. It's a Highland peat. It's a good peat. and it's not overpowering. Very, very nicely done. A little bit of citrus, a lot of vanilla, a little bit of the smoke, a little bit of the grain goodness. It's not, I'm going to say the word overly complex, but it's very, very well made. Now, Wolfburn has a few different expressions on the market. I wish there were actually more. All right, you can go for the Morven. 46%, cost 42 euros over here. You can go for the Northland. Both of these are peated, lightly peated, 46%, also 42 euros. You can go for the Aora, which is their sherry cask matured, 45 euros, 46%. Very, very nice. They have the long skip. I have a few bottles. I'm going to do those one day. 48 euros with 58% ABV. And you have some of those batches. You have batch 458, which is sherry, 7 years of age, 70 euros. And then you move up to this, which is 85 euros. 8 years of age, 50%. And I just feel like this is priced, I'm going to say 15 euros too much. Had it been 69 euros, I would have went, that's a little bit expensive, but. Now, I do have a rule of 10 euros per year. If it is independently bottled, no. If it is cask strength, no. If it's a single cask, no. So it fulfills none of these things. It is bottled for the importer of Germany, but is not independently bottled. All right, and so that's the way it is. Let's try it. Cheers. Hmm. This is a solid whiskey. There's absolutely nothing I can complain about from the beginning to the end. It's the only thing I can complain about is the simplicity of the whiskey. It's fairly, it goes, it continues, it remains. There's not that many transitions. There's not much complexity here. Some of the tasting notes I can give you would be, it could, now these are not my tasting notes. I'm reading these now. Nutty, salty caramel, peated smoke, a little bit of hay, a fruity composition of pears, cloves, and maybe even some ripe peaches. That's all the aroma that I should get. I don't get half of that. All right, so on the palate, I should be getting caramel fudge. I should be getting creme brulee. I should be getting a little bit of roasted sugar. Isn't creme brulee roasted sugar? Then we should have some dark chocolate moments, some those bananas, Haribo gummy bananas, tropical fruits, melon, papaya. Don't get much of that. Wow. I'm totally outside of the realm of what people discover here. The finish should be grapefruit, blood orange, a little bit of popcorn, and a tiny little bit of coal. Charcoal. Let's go for charcoal instead of coal. I don't get much of that. I do get a very, very, very nicely made single malt with the peat not overdoing it. If someone had given this to me, I would have said it's 15 ppm instead of 10. It is double distilled. It is very, very nicely created. I'm going to give this a C+. Now, if you add a little bit of water, it actually doesn't hurt it at all. I think you can go down to even 46% without any problem. Now, the alcohol was not the problem from the beginning. There's no burn. It's actually very well integrated, but sometimes I get a more of a creamy mouthfeel, viscosity moment going on with a little bit of water. If I had been influenced by the tasting notes beforehand, I would have went, oh, I get a little bit of honey melon. I don't get the papaya. I do get the melon a little bit. I get chocolate with a lot of water, maybe. Well done, well done. C+ for a peated whiskey, and I'm not a peat head, all right? Value for money, C-, D+. As I said, the 85 euros It's just a tad too much. 69 would have been better in my opinion, but hey, I'm still out of touch with the current price discussion for whiskey. I still live in 2019 with the prices of whiskey sometimes. It is non-chilled filtered, it is natural color. It is a limited small batch release. Thank you very much for telling us the number, 1,500 bottles. And I must say, if you find this in Germany and you're willing to pay the price, you're not going to be disappointed. I don't know if I would have picked the orange. I mean, this is bright. It's almost like a warning vest orange. But that's all right. And here we have the dark. I like the red. I do. This is a nice red. This is a little bit of a Christmassy type of color here. But the taste and it's almost like spoiled butter. I've said that like 3 times now, haven't I? The 50% is much better than the 46, yeah. All right, so thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others. First question of the day is, what is your favorite Wolfburn product? Yay, all right, so that was that. And the second thing is, let's talk about colors real quick. Do you like these colorful, even Glen Cadam? I just did my wood finishes, the 5 new wood finishes. There was what also like neon green. There was a red. There was purple. There was blue. There was almost like a yellowish type of orange moment. How important are the signal colors for you when you're buying a whiskey? Thank you very much. See you soon. Don't forget to tell others, like, and write a comment. Bye-bye.